Well, we haven't heard this song in quite some time. Not since Rome Reborn, anyway. But this harrowing, echoing music can only mean one thing. Hello once again, everyone, and welcome to Crusnik Sanctuary. I'm Crusnik X, your host. Alongside me, my beautiful girlfriend, Arya Stormborn.
Hello. How much do I owe you for saying that?
Oh, come on. Stop acting like that. Anyways.
You've got no sense of humor, I swear.
Anyways, the music you're hearing right now is the Answers reprise, and that song only means one thing, and that is that the Rising event has returned to Eorzea. The Rising event is the commemorative mark of another year of Final Fantasy XIV. It's been 7 years, honestly, since I started playing Final Fantasy XIV, and I actually beta tested this game. And just from the story alone and trying out the combat, I knew this game was basically going to be long-lasting. And so far, it's held its own for 7 years, even through all the adversity and with
stupid viruses
and the current predicament in terms of the COVID-19 virus. This game is still standing. It's still got a strong player base, and the story has just gotten better and better with each expansion. But anyways, tonight we are going to be doing the Rising 2020 event, the Rising event for the year 2020. Now, before I do want to give a special shout out. I do want to give a special shout out right quick to a new subscriber on my YouTube channel, Angel Berthold, who just subscribed to me 10 hours ago at the time of this recording. Angel, if you're watching this, I really appreciate it. It wouldn't be Crusnik Sanctuary without you. Thank you for joining the Angelic Demons. With that being said, one other thing is that Vega's stream, aka Louis Vega, has hit the hydrate boost for the umpteenth time in a Crusnik Sanctuary episode. So, bottoms up. It's not bad once you get used to it. So, anyway. Alright, so without further ado, and without further stalling for time, let's get right down to it. Now, this is a limited time event, and in order to complete the quest line, we need to come over here to Jabentia and start it off with the first quest, the level 15 quest, Art of Glass. Hello there. Would I be correct in assuming you've come to view my exhibition? You see, I'm an artist by trade, and my chosen medium is stained glass. While it's not the easiest thing to work with, the results are worth the considerable effort required. It's taken me a while to reach this point in my career, and this is actually my first public showing. I was wondering, if it's not too much of a bother, if I might give you a brief explanation of the subject matter. Then pray, my good fellow, cast your eyes at yonder pane. 'Twas the final days before the fall of Dalamud, its inexorable approach foretelling our impending doom. Panic spread like wildfire, while many in their desperation turned on the Sultanate. Looting and rioting broke out across Ul'dah. To quell the masses, Her Royal Majesty Nanamo Ul'Namo took to the streets with a guard consisting of only 7 subjects, for they alone had the courage to stand with Del Sultana. There, she addressed the rabble. Heed me, my beloved citizens. The realm lies upon the brink of the 7th umbral era. Yet so long as we live, we must not forget our compassion. Now is not the time to take from your neighbor, but to proffer him the hand of succor. She was determined not to let that city that the immortal flames were risking their lives to defend tear itself apart in their absence. Her words brought the people to their senses. They laid down their arms and set about healing the wounds they themselves had inflicted on Uldar. Thanks to Her Majesty's impassioned speech, those who returned from the battlefield found their home much as they had left it, a gleaming jewel in the desert. It all seems so long ago. To see the place today, you'd think that the people had entirely forgotten her words that day. The same hands that were once proffered in succor now grasp greedily at every last coin, even if it means one's fellow man must go hungry. It's times like these that we must remind ourselves of the sacrifices of those who came before us. Which is why the Rising Festival is of such profound importance. I draw inspiration from Her Majesty's deeds all those years ago, and through my work, perhaps others might do the same. Dear me, I'd better stop before I am overcome with emotion. There are in fact matters to which I must attend, and if I'm not mistaken, you're an adventurer, yes? I've something you might be able to help me with, if you're willing. In addition to having my stained glass on display, it's been arranged that a wandering minstrel give a recital as part of the festivities. I'm looking to gather as many spectators as possible, but I fear I'll struggle to cover the necessary ground by myself. Perhaps you could give me a hand? "12 bless you, sir! I plan to hand out these flyers, and with 2 of us, we'll be able to reach twice the number of people in the same span of time. If you'd be so kind as to look for potential attendees around the steps of Thal, I'll head for the Sapphire Avenue Exchange. Let's meet there when you're done." Alright. Alright, let's make our way to the Steps of Thal by heading this way. Arya, are you coming? Do I have any mail? No, I don't. You went the wrong way. Head south. Man, this song is haunting. Not the lift attendant, go past it. Here she comes. What? Alright, let's speak to this obviously affluent citizen. How is it obvious?
Not pretty clothes.
Yeah, so does every other villager. Yes. That does sound rather intriguing. If it's the same minstrel my associates have mentioned on occasion, I had best go see what all the fuss is about. I hear he's rather talented. Alright, our next stop is to Onyx Lane, aka the Miners Guild. to the noticeably dusty citizen. We go from highborn to lowborn, I guess. Got something you want digging up? Can't say I'm much of an expert when it comes to music and fine art, but it ain't often a bloke like me gets a chance to sample the high life. I'd be a fool to miss it. Alright. Now we'll take the Ethernet to the Weavers Guild. I know we could have run there, but... because it's basically a hop, skip, and a jump away from Onyx Lane. All we'd have to do is pass through Milvaneth's Sicarium. Anyway. May I help you? Stained glass, depicting the Sultana herself, no less. I've always been a loyal supporter of hers, and it would be remiss of me to pass up such an opportunity. I shall be sure to attend. Alright, let's hit Sapphire Avenue Exchange. You went the wrong way, didn't you? Oh yeah, you definitely went the wrong way.
I missed hit the button. You're so perfect.
I never said I was perfect. I'm not laughing at you. Just keep following that road. You'll see me in a second. And just ran right past me. Ah, well, you were going the right way anyway. Alright, now that we're in the right place, we can speak with Jeben here. Or Jabin. Or however you pronounce it. All done. Much appreciated, but I'm afraid I've run into a bit of a problem. I was in the process of handing a flyer to this gentleman when my friend Aston showed up out of the blue. As chance would have it, these two chaps are previously acquainted, though they do not appear to be on particularly good terms. But how am I supposed to pay you back if the amount keeps going up? If you'd coughed up the money on the date we'd originally agreed, there wouldn't be so much interest to pay. You've only got yourself to blame. But Aston, if your interest rates weren't so high, perhaps he'd have been able to pay you back by now. I'm not saying you should wipe the slate clean, but surely you can come to a compromise. All I want is for him to honor our agreement. What's wrong with that? Besides, I've held up my side in the bargain, so why do I have to be the one to compromise? But let's say I give you the benefit of the doubt that you genuinely lack the means to pay me back. I'll grant you 1 week's extension, but if you still don't have the money by then, there'll be consequences. Only a week? Alright, you damn vulture, you'll get your gill. Then I'll be rid of you for good. I'm sad to say that such incidents are part of everyday life in Uldar. Someone in financial difficulty seeks a moneylender as the answer to their woes, like an oasis in the desert. But it's only a mirage, an illusion of salvation, leading them into even greater debt. Then again, many debtors will borrow money without any intention of paying it back, relying on an endless stream of short-term solutions. I hope that those who look upon my art will remember the words of the Sultana and seek to help rather than exploit one another. Those two chaps you saw arguing just now would benefit from it, I'm sure. You know, Aston wasn't always like that. He'd pick me up when I was down more times than I can count. We both grew up on the streets of Uldar with no one to turn to but each other. The only reason I'm even here today, making a living as an artist, of all things, is because of Aston and his talent for business. With a few words and a couple of handshakes, he could turn a gill into a gold mine. But as the years passed, it became an obsession. No matter how much coin he made, it was never enough. I wish he'd realize there's more to life than personal gain, but nothing I say gets through to him. That's part of the reason why I turned to stained glass art in the first place. It can express my inner thoughts far better than words ever could. Well, my words at any rate. Oh goodness, I do apologize. You must think I'm an awful bore to rope you into helping only to bombard you with complaints and sob stories. But enough of that. It's high time I returned to the exhibition and prepared for the arrival of the minstrel. Alright, let's head back. I still wish we could ride mounts in the main cities. Alright, here we are. Ah, there you are. I hate to say this, but we've run into a slight problem. And by slight problem, I actually mean rather a huge catastrophe. So huge, in fact, I need a moment to compose myself. While I'm loath to impose on you any further, I have a feeling I may need your help again. Or at least some more support. What could be the trouble is the question. Let's find out in Glass from the Past. Alright, enough panicking. It's time for decisive action. While we were out distributing flyers, these children were a little overzealous when it came to admiring my artwork. It seems they were unaware of the look but don't touch rule that normally applies to these things. And, well, it fell on the floor and shattered. Well, I'd suggest staging a play based on the same scene. I'll be Nanamo. Not the first thought that crossed my mind, I must admit. The recital is due to begin any moment now, so the only viable option is to repair the smashed pane as best we can. I think that with a little adhesive here and there, the spectators will hardly notice the cracks. Unfortunately, I don't have any to hand at present. While I run off to fetch some bonding agent from the Alchemist Guild, perhaps you could try piecing the broken glass back together. Don't worry, I'll show you how it's done. Alright, let's do this. Are you ready to begin? Here we go. The following controls can be used to repair the stained glass. The left pad to move left, right pad to move right, X to select and place the piece, and circle to cancel the selection. Alright. This should be easy enough. Pippin was on the right. I know that much. And there's his long flowing locks. Nanamo was at top, so boom. Papashan was there. The main head of the Coco brothers was at the far right. With his brothers all bringing up the other sides. I think this is the easiest puzzle I've ever done. And just 3 more pieces. And there. And there. Wonder how long that took me. Arya's taking a little bit to... How you holding up there, Arya?
I wish the mouse would let you adjust things and turn puzzle pieces. Because the directions lie.
The directions lie?
Yes. Because it says left cursor moves left. Right cursor moves right. And then...
Oh, yeah, the directional pad, babe, on the controller. Of course, you have it on keyboard controls, so... But you're almost done. You had it.
edges first.
And there. Alright, Arya's got it. And we out. Well, at least we got it done, right? Yes, that's perfect! With a few dabs of adhesive, it'll be good as new. Well, almost. It should certainly suffice for the time being, though. Looks good to me. All's well that ends well, yes? The children were beside themselves with worry, but now they're as delighted as I am. I'm surprised they didn't give the kids lines this time. Oh, just a moment of nostalgia. I know from first-hand experience that moment of horror that comes when breaking an expensive piece of glass. A few years ago, I was helping Aston with one of his ventures as an art dealer. I was in desperate need of gills, so he hired me to transport a few pieces. That was when I dropped a case containing some valuable stained glass, and I'll never forget the awful sound it made. But rather than curse me for my clumsiness or fret over the money it had cost him, his only concern was whether I'd cut myself on any of the shards. So you see, that's why I don't blame the children for their little misadventure. I suppose I'm following Aston's example. Actually, there's one more favor I'd like to ask of you. I think if Aston were to see my stained glass, it might remind him of the days when there were things more important to him than money. Of course, I've tried various approaches in the past, and most of what I say to him goes in one ear and out the other. But if it were to come from someone else, such as your good self, he might be more inclined to listen. Would you mind having a word with him? You're too kind. Perhaps you could start by handing him this flyer and going from there. I expect he's in the quicksand, where he carries out much of his business. His clients tend to be a bit more malleable when they're in their cups, it seems. Anyway, if you could rouse his interest in the festivities, we'll leave the rest to him. Leave the rest to him, eh? Alright, here we are. Back to the quicksand. And there's a Viera here named Cho Chang. You're going the wrong way this time. Hang a left. Hang a right. Alright, let's speak with Aston. I remember you. Ben's assistant, yes? Or maybe he's yours. Either way, I appreciate you looking out for him. He needs all the help he can get. Though I must say, if you've something that requires my attention, I'd rather you kept it brief. Here you go. Yes, I know all about Ben's exhibit, thank you. Keeping my ear to the ground as I do, there's little that goes on in Old Dawn that escapes my notice. So why did he send you to advertise it to me? He wants to remind me of the good old days? I might have guessed it would be something as soppy as that. A lot's changed since then, but he's still the same daft sod he's always been. Not that it's necessarily a bad thing, mind you. It's his sentimental side that allows him to create such evocative works of art. But I always felt that if he tried to make a living out of it, he'd lose the very essence of what makes his pieces so special in the first place. Rather than expressing himself, he'd have to pander to the tastes of wealthy but fickle clients to turn a profit. That's why I want to earn enough for the both of us, so he'd be free to pursue his dreams. While he doesn't need me to pay for his bed and board anymore, I'm still around to help him if he falls on hard times. And just to make it perfectly clear, it's not that I don't want to attend the exhibition. I decided not to go because if people were to think that Ben is associated with a moneylender like me, it would ruin his good reputation. But if he insists that I go, perhaps I can make an appearance without drawing too much attention. Tell him I'll think about it, would you? I'm not hearing a no. Alright, let's head back to Ben. Looks like the crowd's gathering. Alright. So, what did he say? I'll just have to wait and see. Whatever the outcome, I'm very grateful for all you've done, and I'm sure you'll be pleased to hear that I've saved you the perfect spot from which to view the event. Citizens of Uldar, by my words be transported to the days before the calamity, a time when all hope seemed lost. As the lesser moon hung low in the sky, a wave of terror washed over this fair city, turning neighbor against neighbor, brother against brother. There, in the midst of chaos, she stood defiantly. And so our tale begins. Hearken now to the Sultana's 7. Astonishing! I could see the events of that fateful day in my mind's eye as vividly as I see you now. Such a profoundly moving performance would surely have touched the hearts of everyone in attendance. Aston! You came after all! An artist you may be, but subtle you are not. Now is not the time to take from your neighbor, but to proffer him the hand of succor. A message to all of Uldar, I'm sure, but also one meant specifically for me. I have to admit, the Sultana made a good point, and it still stands to this day. Maybe it's time I thought about earning an honest living. I knew you'd come around sooner or later! And Aston, I can take care of myself now, so you needn't go to such lengths to support me. I'm glad to hear it, but let's get one thing straight. I didn't become a moneylender just to cover your expenses while you carved out a career as an artist. I just didn't want you to compromise your ideals and the quality of your work for the sake of keeping a roof over your head. Now you can concentrate on doing what you do best, bringing joy to people through your art. As for me, I should find a better use for my skills. Perhaps I could go back to being an art dealer. That way you can create whatever works you please while I seek out potential buyers. It certainly beats making commissioned pieces for some pretentious buffoon. You're suggesting we go into business together? Yes, unless you have any objections to working with a very recently reformed moneylender. Of course not! And I know just where to start. Producing more paintings featuring the Sultana and her 7 trusty followers. Imagine the streets of Ul'dah lined with stained glass depicting its illustrious history. The sparkling jewel of the desert will shine brighter than ever. This is more than I could have dreamed of. Of course, none of this would have been possible without your kindness, Chris. You probably hear effusive words of praise quite often in your line of work, but I sincerely mean it. Thank you for all you've done. Oh, and there was another thing I meant to tell you. The Wandering Minstrel was, wondering if he could have a word with you. In fact, he has a present of sorts to give you. He should be somewhere nearby. Best of luck finding him. I know exactly where he is. Alright, let's go find that minstrel. There he is. Alright, let's speak to him. Ah, there you are. Ah, you are come, as I knew you would. Jeben Tia speaks very highly of not only your skill at piecing together broken glass, but of your loyalty and compassion. Your virtues are many and varied indeed. Were it not for your contribution, the festival would have been without its centerpiece. My accompaniment of song was naught but a garnish to the fine dish that was our mutual friend's glorious work of art. Perhaps you will allow me to express my gratitude with another piece I have composed. I swear, this guy can always trigger the echo every year. Well, here we are back in the ethereal sea. And below the lesser moon, Dalamud, no less. Welcome, Warrior of Light. Or should I call you Warrior of Darkness? You needn't be alarmed by these strange surroundings. Ah, the Sultana's 7 are here indeed. And the man himself. This is the world that exists outside your reality. Could it be a dream? A flight of fancy conjured by your weary mind? Perhaps. Or perhaps not. It is an honor to be reunited with you in this world between worlds. I have been following your adventures with great interest. Your travels have taken you to lands far and wide, and you have encountered people of all walks of life, each with their own ideals, hopes, and dreams. As time flows onward in a never-ending spiral, the course of history is guided by mortal hands. Though our existence be brief, our deeds echo for eternity. 7 years have passed since the lesser moon descended. 7 years since mankind rose from the ashes. 'Twas a spectacle none shall ever forget, and that they live to tell the tale is cause for both celebration and reflection. When we cast our minds back, It is not sorrow that fills our hearts, but joy. For we have been afforded a second chance, that we may learn from the lessons of the past. As we set forth towards new horizons, those with a thirst for adventure will lead the way. While there may be hardships and strife on the road ahead, there is no obstacle that we cannot overcome if we believe in ourselves and each other. Countless kindred spirits share our journey, and it is through mutual respect and understanding that we may create a better world. The future is what we make it, by our words and deeds, and we will forever be at your side, brave adventurer. You have our undying gratitude, now and always. The time has come for this vision to end. Time for your eyes to open from this waking dream. Ever will we be watching over you. Guide the realm unto peace and happiness, warrior of light and darkness both. Till next we meet. All right. Back to the realm of the living. And lo, you are returned. Pray tell, were you left with pleasant memories, fleeting though they may be? Pretty pleasant. That is well, for such visions are wont to fade all too quickly, as the morning dew in the light of the rising sun. Mayhap another of my verses will make a suitable gift ere we part. In the wake of the calamity, light descends once more to illuminate a world reborn, risen from fires of war. In the eyes of heaven, deception crumbs to dust. Those divided by malice, united by bonds of trust. On fields awash in crimson, battle raged far and wide. In name of liberty, the courageous few turn the tide unto a distant realm, drowned in radiance unrelenting, strides forth the harbinger of night, iron will unbending. I think I did pretty well on that, all things considered. For the sake of their loved ones, there are those who take to the battlefield, and yet, those who remain behind have their roles to play. Protectors and the protected, providers and the provided for, principles upon which every nation is built. It is the duty of those who rule to ensure that these elements are kept in balance, even if they must face great peril. The words of the Sultana ring as true in the here and now as they did on that fateful day. May each of us take them to heart as we face the new dawn as one. And another rising celebration has come and gone. And with it, we've completed another quest. And you have unlocked the jigsaw puzzle minigame. Open the toy chest in any inn-room to try this activity. We've also unlocked the achievement Magnificent 7. We also obtained the wind-up Ardbert minion. How about we show that bad boy off? Cute. We also got the Sultana 7 Pain, which I'm going to, whoops, not do that. We're going to go to we're going to head to Mist in order to do that. Because before the episode, I actually did run lines with Arya here. So we do have it chilling out in the estate hall. I just wish this thing would load up a little faster, because... There we go. It's right down here. A beautiful reflective piece. And it fit very nicely on the wall, all things considered. We also got the aforementioned jigsaw puzzle game, which now looks actually like a jigsaw puzzle and not... Yeah, I'm not gonna work on this too much, because we'll be here forever padding out an episode. So, with that being said, another rising has come and gone. I want to for one, thank Naoki Yoshida and the entire dev team at Square Enix for making such a wonderful game that I've been hooked to for years. I want to thank everyone for watching this episode. All of my subscribers, all of my viewers. It wouldn't be Crusnik Sanctuary without you. But it is time for us to go on to continue our adventures elsewhere. So with that being said, that's it for this episode of Crusnik Sanctuary. Thank you to Arya Stormborn for joining us.
Yep.
And thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed the show. As always, if you're watching this on Twitch or live from PlayStation and you like this show, click the follow button. Be sure to turn on notifications so you're well informed. And be sure to subscribe to me for access to exclusive videos and live streams. If you're watching this on YouTube and you like this video, click the like button below and leave a comment. Subscribe to my channel by clicking here and click the bell icon for notifications. Click here to watch more by me, click here to watch the next episode, and click here to watch the previous one. Until next time, Crusnik X, signing out.